welcome to a special edition of Dave Campbell's Rising. And we are live from the Dick's House of Sports in Dallas, Texas. My name is Mallory Hartley, and I'm the coordinating producer of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And sitting alongside me, it's my partner in crime. He's the director of recruiting. It's Greg Powers.
Howdy.
Howdy. So, it's week 6 of the Texas high school football season, right? And we've been doing the show in the studio for about 6 weeks now, maybe a little over 6 weeks. And I think it was time for a change. So we decided to take Rising on the road.
Here we are.
And here we are at Dick's Sporting Goods
How
in
exciting
Addison,
is this?
Texas. How exciting is this? Our first road show together.
I climbed the rock wall. I hit the golf simulator. I hit a couple of baseballs, softballs. They have everything in here.
Give me your scouting report on the rock wall.
Oh, it's amazing. Now, me climbing the rock wall,
Not so amazing.
Not as impressive. Not as impressive.
Not as impressive. Well, I'll have to challenge you to that at some point soon. If you're new here, welcome. We're Dave Campbell's Rising, and we shine the light on Texas high school football prospects all across the Lone Star State. We're usually live on Tuesdays at noon, but of course we're making an exception today to be live here at the Dick's House of Sports in Addison, Texas. Well, we have a packed show for you guys today, so I won't waste any time of y'all's time, but I'll give you the quick rundown. We have got a couple of special guests, some coaches, and some players that are going to be joining us, and then of course at the back half of the show, we've got our normally scheduled This Week in Recruiting, so please stick around for that. All right, shall we go ahead and get started?
Let's dive in.
Let's go ahead and dive right in. And we are currently joined by the Plano High School head coach, Cody White, and his quarterback, Joe Camacho. Thanks for joining us, guys. Excited to have y'all on.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Coach, we got to talk about what happened last week, right? You handed a great Princeton team their first loss of the season. Back and forth downs to the final possession. You got the 4th and 1 stop on the 10-yard line. Talk to me a little bit about what was going through your head in those final moments and maybe how your heart rate was in that final moment.
Well, I mean, it was going, I assure you, but mostly I was dwelling on the fact that we had to burn a timeout on our 2-point play because our sophomores, which we have a bunch of them, weren't listening and kind of blew after we scored so quickly to go ahead. And I was thinking, how are we're going to lose a timeout, we're going to have to drive down and kick a field goal to win. We had missed one and had one block, so I was a little stressed, to be honest with you.
A little stressed,
Yeah,
but it ended up being great. It feels like to me, if you're a coach, that 4th down stance from your defense is like a coach's dream, right?
It is, particularly for us. I mean, where we are as a program, it's, we've honestly, I think, probably for a little bit in Plano, found a way to lose those kind of games. And, having our guys rise up and win something that was that hotly contested. And honestly, they moved the ball up and down the field, and our defense did a great job. It's amazing, 21 points. They had 520 yards. And so they're going up and down the field, and we were holding them from scoring points. And so we had actually 2 4th-down stops inside the 10 that were exceptional and really changed the course of the game.
Joe Camacho here with us from Plano High School, linebacker, and you got to go, he's coaching from the sidelines, you're on the field for those big plays.
Yes,
Walk us
sir.
through what it was like being on the field, because that's a pretty talented Princeton squad. Coach mentioned that they have some really talented offensive players, and of course Marcus Flowers is pretty good, but you guys were able to stand tall at the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. It was really stressful, to be honest. Down there in the goal line, it was a good experience. We always dream of situations like that so we can make those types of stops, and well, we got it done.
Joe, you've got kind of a stacked offense here. I want to talk specifically too about Chance Cooley. He finished the night with 24 carries, 235 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. Talk to me a little bit about that offensive chemistry that you have with the rest of the guys on your team.
I mean, we all work as a family. We're all a team. We all work together. Everything we do is together. Chance, that dude's a beast. I don't know. There's no other word other than a beast. But he couldn't do it without our offensive line, and those big boys up front, they put in the work. So it is really happy that we have Chance in that offensive line.
I was going to say, and Caden Brown too. I mean, you guys are just all the way stacked.
Honestly, everyone on our offense is working hard, and you can tell that they have put in the work in the summer.
Coach, sorry, go ahead.
Coach, what have you seen growth from your team so far this year? You know, you're getting to the midpoint part of the season. This is where you really put your foot on the gas, right? You're looking to develop and get them ready for the playoffs. What growth have you seen from these guys?
Well, I mean, as I said, we're starting 6 sophomores, which is pretty tough in this type of, this division 6A. We've seen them grow up. They still give me heart failure a few times a game, but they're great kids. They're high level competitors, and so we've seen those guys grow. And now we got the back half, and our district's going to be a dogfight. I mean, we got honestly, I think it's pretty obvious. Allen and Prosper are probably 2 top teams without a doubt, and then the rest of us, I think, you can kind of shake us up, and we're all about the same. So every single week is going to be kind of like what we just had, what we had with McKinney earlier. So we just got to find a way to win those games. So far, we've done that.
We actually saw you guys punch your ticket at the state qualifying tournament to go to College Station and compete in the state championship game in College Station at 7-on-7. What is, obviously that's not real on the field football, but what's some improvements that you've seen from your team since then, now playing actual football?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm not honestly, the game's won on the line of scrimmage, so you throw that out when you do 7-on-7. Is there a benefit to it? If there wasn't, we wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I think really having a sophomore quarterback with a bunch of guys and having him be with them, and with our setup in Plano being 2 9-10 campuses, and they don't really go to school together, until they're juniors and seniors, which is a little strange. So them having that time together and enjoying it and getting to go. A lot of our kids haven't been oftentimes outside the Metroplex, so getting down there and getting that experience with each other was really a great kickstart to how the season's gone so far.
Joe, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson here from my perspective. We're going to rewind the clock back to 2004, okay? Very first Texas high school football game that I was ever on an assignment for was Plano versus Campbell. Playoff game, high implications. It was a whole lot of fun. But when I walked out onto that field and saw, y'all's squad back then in the atmosphere, what's it actually like being a player there that has so much history? There's a lot of talent that's walked the halls there. Is it just fun to be a part of the program?
I mean, it's amazing. I couldn't ask for anywhere else I would rather be, honestly. The entire school pitches in, and you see the entire school at every football game, and it's really awesome just to be a part of that experience.
Coach, this is kind of a question for both of you guys. You've got Plano West on the clock for next week.
Big rivalry.
It's a big rivalry. What does that mean to you? And what are you looking forward to most about that rivalry game?
Well, it's a big one. If you ask our kids, winning the city is a big deal, which is East and West. For me, not having the background of that, it's how do we find a way to play an 11th game? But the fact of the matter is those two go hand in hand. So this is a huge one for us. Tyler has done an exceptional job coming off a pretty tough year last year, and those guys are playing really well. So, I'm happy for him because I really like Tyler and Tony. We spend a lot of time together, the East and West head coaches. But for this one time a year, I'm definitely not rooting for Tyler. I'll root for the rest of the year, but not this time. But he's done a good job, and it's going to be, as I said, I think this district, this part of our district is really, really tightly contested, close teams.
Same question kind of for you. Does that rivalry game mean something to you? What's it like, the feeling in the locker room? Does it give you guys a little bit of extra juice in practice this week as you guys approach the game?
It definitely makes us want to work a lot harder throughout the week, and we're definitely a lot more focused this week. We always are focused, but this week especially, the big city rivalry, we always have to bring our A game for that game.
Okay, I want to give it a little bit of a lightheartedness to this point. What's the post-game meal that y'all look forward to? Do you have a post-game meal? Are y'all superstitious?
I personally do not. My post-game meal is try to get home. Hopefully we've won, and either way I don't sleep. And my wife is usually up. I say hey, and she tells me the rundown of her perspective, which is generally not even close to really what happened. But I kind of nod, and then the next morning we get up and kids come in and we put the game away and have some fun with each other if we've won, and if not, it's how do we get ourselves focused for the next week, and then I enjoy the rest of the Saturday. But no, I don't eat anything on Friday night, to be honest with you.
I thought you were going to ask.
I know these guys do.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's your post-game meal?
Post-game meal. I always love to go get some canes after the game.
That's a good
Some
one.
canes.
Yeah, chicken. We're big
so
fans. Yeah.
A couple years from now, it's NIL deal right there. Kane.
So I'm always hyped. I thought you were going to pin me down on like what we're having in the press box, right? So I have to admit, I mean, it's cliche, but I'm always hyped for pizza. Your pizza in the press box, like my thing, but if you can get a good slice of pizza up there, I think that's always what I'm looking for.
Well, Coach White and Joe, we really appreciate the time and good luck moving forward into the season.
We appreciate y'all having us, and thanks for what you do for high school football.
Absolutely. There they go. It's Coach Cody White from Plano High School and his quarterback, Joe Camacho. We appreciate them joining us all the way up here in Addison, Texas.
Interesting game, Plano West and Plano coming up. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. I mean, it's going to be a game that I think that I'm giving the edge to the Wildcats right now.
Calling your shot.
I'm calling my shot. It's not because the guys were just on the program, right? I've been watching a lot of tape. We put out the top 500 today, top 500 prospects in the Lone Star State in the class of 2026. So I've been in the film room a little bit and watching the tape. I think Plano's in a good spot. I think that win over Princeton is going to have them poised to keep the momentum rolling into this week. That's just my opinion. I'm calling it as I see it.
And that's something that we've talked about in the office time and time again. It's that Princeton is such a much improved team than they were last year. So that win is really, really good. And I didn't mention it, but I really like Bradley Brown as well, their defensive player at Plano. He's committed to TCU. I think he's one to definitely keep your eye on there.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Well, and two, I think just a rivalry game within the same city, because I'm from Arlington, so whenever we played Arlington schools, I felt like they just meant a lot more, and your juices were just flowing, and you're like, man, we got to beat that crosstown rival, right? So I completely understand that. We wish both teams.
There's always pressure there, though, too, right? There's always some pressure whenever you're playing that rivalry game, and as Coach mentioned, like every game is integral in that district for seeding and getting into the playoffs. If you can't win those games, you can't get into the playoffs. You don't have a chance to win state, and that's what it's all about.
Right, absolutely. Well, before we get to our next couple of guests, we want to remind you that on Friday nights, after football games, Powers, I do have a question for you.
Alrighty.
What do you do on Friday nights after a football game?
The after party.
The after party? There's only one thing to do, and that's to tune in to the after party. It's Texas Football Tonight, the state's most comprehensive high school football recap show, starring Ashley Pickle and Greg Tepper, airing every Friday night from 10:30 p.m. to midnight throughout the Texas high school football season. You can catch that on all of our social channels, YouTube and TexanLive.com, every Friday night starting at 10:30 p.m. Come join us for the after party.
Well, I love the after party. The party's under the Friday night lights, right? It's after party to watch Tepper and Pickle break down all the scores and all the games. It's always so much fun. And streaming now. You can watch it anytime you want. So if you wake up on Saturday morning, you can go ahead and tune in and give it a watch. Then sometimes I watch it in the morning.
Sometimes you watch it, but you watch it still.
Well, I'm still at the games late at night, doing interviews and talking to players and coaches. So it's just the way it works out.
Very, very true. All right. We've got some more special guests that have joined us. We're joined here by Dallas Jesuit head coach Brandon Hickman and his wide receiver. It's Cade Kirby. Coach, we'll go ahead and start with you here. Thanks so much for joining us. Not super far for you guys. It's like kind of across the highway maybe a little bit, so wasn't too far of a drive.
I think it said it was 2 minutes from the school. Really nice. But yeah, thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. Well, you guys opened up district play last week with a win over Irving, 52-13. What was the message during the bye? And I know you guys had a bye week the week before. What was that message and kind of that mindset heading into district play last week?
We played a really tough non-district schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And so we decided to kind of hit the reset button and get healed up and improve as a team. and then attack it as 1-0 for district. The district's where it counts, and so that's really important that we want to get off to a good start there. But we learned a lot during the non-district stretch. We had some young players get to play and kind of find out our identity as a team, and I like where we're at right now.
Well, and speaking of that non-district slate, I mean, like you said, it's tough, and you don't have to schedule those types of games, but you do anyways. What's the importance of that, and how does that help your team in the long run?
Well, I think it's important to schedule tough non-district because you're going to play that at some point, whether it's a district opponent. We've got a really good district, and at some point you're going to play that. You're also going to see those teams in the playoffs. You get in the first or second round. I think it's important that you see that early on, and so your team is used to the speed of the game, which changes when you play really good teams. So that's kind of the main reason why we do it. And we enjoy scheduling tough teams. That's what we've done over the years, and it's paid off for us.
Kate, I want to ask you, man, the offense really put their foot on the gas last week, put some points on the board. What was it like, putting all those, looking at your stats, 18 catches, 223 yards, already got 3 scores this year. I'm sure that put a big smile on your face to be able to put 52 on the board.
Yes, sir. I think it was pretty important for us just as an offense to get that kind of like confidence going, putting a lot of points on the board, especially some of the younger guys got a little more touches on Thursday night, actually. And, I think it was important to get that confidence, just build up, get some really good momentum going into district, and just keep that momentum rolling.
Talk about the rapport you're starting to build with Beck Berry, the quarterback over there. I mean, it looks like you guys are starting to get really dialed in on the same page. I guess you're his Michael Irvin this year. Is he your Troy Aikman?
Yes, sir, he is. I mean, me and Beck have been playing together since, I don't know when, since we were little kids. So, that chemistry's, it's always been there, and it feels good to really, show that and make it known that, me and Beck are, here to make a statement.
Did you guys win some youth league games together?
Yes, sir, we did.
Pretty good?
We did. Yes, sir.
So the chemistry's pretty strong, I'd say.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, Coach, you guys are a private school, but you play at the 6A level. You play UIL football. What are some of those challenges that you face?
Well, we got in the UIL in 2004. I was assistant at Jesuit at the time. I've been at Jesuit 21 years now, but so I got introduced to it in 04, and then over the years, we kept developing as a program. I think the biggest thing is the size, the numbers, the size of the school that we play, because we're 1,200 all boys, and we carry about 255 kids on the team. For 6A, I would say we're a little bit smaller than most. But I like the challenge. I think the kids enjoy the challenge. It's nice to be able to play 6A football at the highest level. We can always tell people we're playing at the highest level against the best opponents you can possibly play. And so that's a lot of fun for our kids, for our coaches. And our kids, respond well, and they like to be challenged, and academically and athletically. So, I'm really proud of the way that our guys have handled those seasons each year.
Kate, I was talking to Coach Hickman before we went on the air today, and Jesuit has one of those atmospheres every time I go there that just seems to be electric no matter what. It just seems like a lot of the fans always come out. There's a lot of traffic in and out of the game. What's it like as a player playing there, and is that a good call by me? Is it a great atmosphere?
Yes, sir. I think that's a pretty accurate statement. It's electric. That's just one word you could say. It's electric. A big play happens, big score happens. You can just the crowd erupts. You can just hear the roar. There's no better feeling than playing in Ranger Stadium.
What's one of your favorite traditions at Jesuit?
Favorite tradition? I would have to say we'll actually have a game here this Friday where we wear black socks, and it's my favorite because I think it's a very respectful tradition, and
yeah.
Yep.
I know a little bit about the tradition, but Coach Hickman knows more about it. But we wear black socks for a player who passed away a couple of years ago, and it's really like a Jesuit thing, and it's because it builds community. Jesuit is a school; it's all about community, brotherhood, and that's what that game is really help. It helps build that community, establish it. And we wear black socks to honor this young man, and I think it's really special at Jesuit.
Sometimes you're going in and out of there. Folks can't get into the game. right as it starts. So I was going to say I always notice that people are honking their horns whenever they're coming into the stadium, and I think it's to show support because they don't do it until they're right behind the scoreboard pulling in. So I always thought it was like some of the fans, trying to get the football team hype when they were coming in. Not that they couldn't get into the stadium, but that they were just excited to be there. And it's something like even when I'm on the field taking photos or watching the game that I always felt that electric atmosphere. Coach, we've been doing this a while. I've come over there and watched a lot of top players at your high school over the years. Let's talk about some of your all-time greats, and I'm going to start with I have to start with E.J. Smith. He's one of my favorite players that I watched over there. He was always full of graciousness whenever I interviewed him and talked to him, and it looks like he's carried it on, into the next level. What was it like coaching him?
I mean, he was a special player, very talented. I pushed DJ pretty hard, and he was one of those guys I think that, had the talent when he was younger, and then his senior year he really exploded. And actually his senior year was when he got hurt. He broke his wrist the second to last game of the playoffs, and, he came out with a cast on his wrist and played the whole rest of the playoffs. And what's interesting about that season in 2019 is that EJ, I think we scored 13 touchdowns in the playoffs and went 4 rounds deep, and he scored every touchdown.
That's crazy.
So, he was a special player, especially young man. I mean, he went to Stanford, graduated in 3.5 years, and now he's at A&M going to grad school and has got 1 year left to play. So it seems like he's been eligible for a long time. But, special young man. And then another one would be Robert Fitzgerald, who currently plays for Northwestern. He was kind of a do-it-all guy. He could play quarterback. He could play running back. He returned punts. I mean, he did it all. We called him Superman. He literally was like that, and just a great human being. And I think he's leading Northwestern in tackles right now, and
it's pretty impressive.
Doing really well there. So, but there's been a bunch. I mean, we've had a lot of guys over the years. I got to coach my son, which was really cool. But we've had a lot of good players, and most importantly, good people, and that's something that we really preach at Jesuit, being a man for others, and that's one. This guy right here epitomizes that, and so that's why I wanted him to join us tonight.
Speaking of being a man for others, shout out one of your teammates. Give us a guy that we need to know about, Cade. Who's somebody that you feel like's flying underneath the radar that everybody should know his name?
Shout out a guy named Luke Cutler.
All right, Luke. There you go.
Starting right guard. I mean, throughout the off season, spring, summer. I mean, most energy every single day. I mean, in the game, he just kills. I mean, he's just a beast, and just runs over people.
Are you taking notes while he's talking?
I'm taking always mental notes. That's the thing about what I do, and this is one of those things. I'll tell you a little bit of the secret. I have to do a lot of the recruiting rankings, player rankings, and I have a process locked in. I can remember you if you're in the class that's currently going on, but after that, I push them right. I have to push. I have to make room for the next group that's going to be coming in, right? So, that's my process right now. I don't write a lot of stuff down. I try to memorize it all for that class. So, that's my secret to success.
I like it. Well, Coach, we'll close this one out with you. You got Richardson Pierce coming up next. What have you assessed about the Mustangs so far?
Well, we've watched a lot of film. I think our kids are prepared for this game. We prepared the last 2 days. They've done a great job preparing, and last year was a really good game. The last 2 years we've had with those guys have been a great game. So I think it's going to be a good ball game. We're going to have to take care of the ball. It's kind of coach talk here, but create some turnovers and be the ones that are kind of setting the tone up front. And so I think if we do that, we're going to have a really good shot at beating them on Friday night. And the main thing for us too is just focus on what we do and getting better each day. And I think our team's doing that, which I'm really proud of.
Well, it always feels like District 7 6A could be anybody's district, right? It's an even level playing field every single year. Yeah. So it just feels like anybody could beat anyone on any given day, right? So I'm sure that requires, you got that mentality of going 1-0 each week.
That's funny that you said that because we talk about that all the time, 1-0. I asked the kids the other day, what's our record? They're like 1-3. I'm like, no, it's not. It's 1-0.
It's 1-0.
Because it matters now in district. So, 1-0 each week. That's kind of our mindset as well. It's kind of hard to believe, telling the guys that, we only have 5 district games left after this Friday.
I know.
So
the season's
really
halfway over almost.
Yeah, enjoy the moment as a senior. You're not going to get these days back and take full advantage of it and kind of seize the moment, so to speak, because next year a lot of them will be to college in a fraternity or playing ball or whatever, and you're going to miss your senior year, so enjoy it while you can.
Well, guys, we really appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. There they go. It's Coach Hickman and his wide receiver, Cade Kirby, out of Dallas Jesuit. Another really fun team and a fun district to keep up with. Like I told Coach, I mean, it just seems like year after year, it can be anybody's district.
Well,
anybody can beat anybody.
This is an interesting game to me, right? Because Pierce has their backs against the wall a little bit. 0-1 in district right now. This is a big game for them, but are they catching Jesuit at the wrong time? Coming in off of really starting to get their offense on track, right? They played a very tough non-district schedule, and things really looked like they started to click in place last week. I mean, obviously they scored 52 points, right? So
things are
they put a lot of points on the board, but I feel like they've started to find their identity, and they have a main option. We just talked to them at wide receiver, and they have a very talented quarterback who is equally adept at throwing the ball and rushing. And as they build that engine on offense and get that thing going, I think his dynamic style of play changes and evolves that offense each and every week. So I think they're only going to get better each and every week, and Coach Hickman's done a tremendous job over the years of making sure that his teams make improvements week over week.
He said he's been there for 21 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been going over there and watching
Loyalty
games
rocks.
for a long time.
I know, right?
Another press box that does a tremendous job with the food spread. They always make sure that you're getting taken care of, but really, honestly, it's one of those places that has a special feeling.
It does.
On Friday nights. I mean, it really seems like the whole student body is really into the game, and that they get a lot of support from everybody that's around the program.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not the biggest stadium, but it does feel intimate in that way. Everybody's up the entire game cheering on their team. It just does kind of feel different.
I love this feel of the stadium. You know, they say it's not and even when you talk, it's not but it does feel cool. Like it makes you feel like you're close to the action and you're right on top of the action. And I love that in a Texas high school football game.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be joined by more special guests here in just a second. But first, here's a word from our good friends at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid.
Take notes.
Yo, I can guard pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
Appreciate our friends at Dick's Sporting Goods.
What a store this is. This is amazing. Even when looking out right now, it's so massive. It's just cool to be here and do the show. I love doing the show in the studio, but it's fun to
kind of adventure out. So this is actually the Dick's House of Sports in Addison, Texas. So like you mentioned at the very beginning, it's massive. Like there's a rock climbing wall, like you said, a golf simulator, and I think you and I said the same thing when we walked in here. Is we're probably going to go shopping.
We're in the House of Cleats right now, and I have to say, I have to say they had none of these styles available when I was playing ball.
No, not at all. But maybe we can buy some after this, just to feel like we're in the loop.
I don't think I'm going to be wearing any cleats. I'm more of like a comfortable shoe guy now. You know,
I feel that. Well, we are now joined by Lake Highlands head coach. It's Corey Campbell. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here.
Thank you guys for having me. We really appreciate you guys, what you're doing and promoting our game means a lot.
Absolutely. Well, you're 3-1 on the season so far. Seems like you guys are clicking, you know. What's been the overall assessment of your team so far this season?
Yeah, I think, as Coach Hickman was in here a while ago talking about non-district, we opened with Forney in a really tight ball game. I think at the beginning of the season, you're searching a little bit for identity. And as the seasons went on, now, we're talking about almost halfway through. I think we're really starting to find some identity offensively and defensively within our team.
And speaking of that identity offensively, tell me a little bit more in depth about that offense and what you've seen from them so far that you like.
Yeah, obviously having a returner with the likes of Christian Rose in the backfield.
Yeah, heard the name.
You're going to see a lot of heavy boxes, 8-man boxes.
but we've really developed some multiplicity in our identity of being able to throw the football. And so, last week we even saw some dropping 7, dropping 8 in the secondary, and that really has opened up our run game. Chuck Smith, our quarterback, has done a great job of coming in and learning our scheme, learning our offense. Got a great repertoire with our receiving core, and at the end of the day, it's that multiplicity has really been beneficial to us.
You mentioned Chuck Smith, and I was really getting ready to transition into that, Coach, because you touched on a key point. I think the diversity that you guys have on offense now. You always had Christian Rhodes since he kind of really broke onto the scene last year. Yeah. But Smith's development, 12 touchdowns to 1 interception. How does that change everything for you guys from a play calling standpoint?
Yeah, it really opens the box. I mean, at the end of the day, we put a lot on our quarterbacks. They make a lot of protection calls at the line of scrimmage. We run a lot of RPOs. And so, with having Christian there and now we have a junior and Franklin Evans Jr., both of those guys can catch the ball out of the backfield. Chuck does a really good job of extending plays and keeping his eyes downfield. And, district play just started, but we've got a really tough district. And, I heard Coach Hickman talking about it a while ago, and we preach it in our building all the time, that 1-0 mentality. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so, we just got off the practice field probably 30 minutes ago, and you're trying to get better each and every day.
Looking at these stats, Coach, you got 5 receivers over 100 yards already in the program, 2 of them over 300 yards. I'm not going to botch their names. I'll let you shout out those guys for me, but it looks like that offensive diversity has been key for you guys, and I bet they're like getting their hands on some of those balls that's being thrown around.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's one of the things that 7-on-7 does, for throwing the football. You develop some chemistry, some continuity, and I feel like our quarterbacks believe in our receivers and vice versa. And so, we've been able to spread the ball around to Conrad Ince and Junior Osarola and Franklin Evans Jr. and even Christian out of the backfield, Kobe Moreland. And so that's been big for us, not depending on 1 or 2 guys to move the chains.
You've talked a lot about the offensive side of the ball, but I want to flip over onto the defensive side. You held your first district opponent to just 13 points last week. Yeah. What's clicking on the defensive side, and who do you want to shout out from that defense?
Yeah, I think probably our most consistent unit is our defensive line, led by Peyton Nicholson. Just a really consistent group of some good high school football players. We've got a couple, guys that have been offered scholarships, and our outside linebacker in Aiden Little, and then Lloyd Wyatt in the secondary. And so those guys have been really big for us. And I think for us as a team, not giving up the explosive play is huge, and first down efficiency on offense is huge. And I think if you can start to improve in that category each and every week, you're going to give yourself an opportunity to be successful.
This morning we dropped our first ever top 500 prospects in Texas. You had 2 guys on that list. Of course, Christian Rhodes going to SMU and Aiden Little. What makes Christian Rhodes so special? What's SMU going to be getting in this young guy?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, he's 6'2", 6'3", and weighs 210 pounds. And can really run. I think over the last probably 18 months, he's really developed into a good pass catcher out of the backfield. So they're going to get a versatile player, and we use him in a lot of different. We'll empty the backfield, we'll motion him, we do a lot of different things. And then the second part of your question, Aiden Little. And he's just he's a crazy athlete, 42-inch vertical. Probably could play safety, probably could play receiver. He plays outside linebacker for us in our odd front, and just adds another dimension to our defense that's hard to coach.
Now we have him as one of the top uncommitted players in the state. I mean, I've been saying it. This is a guy I feel like more colleges should be coming out to take a look at. You stamping him?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Great kid, really matured. It's fun to watch kids when they come into your program as ninth graders, and he's kind of grown up right in front of us. And so, he has quite a few offers. And so I think different kids do it different ways.
Right.
Some of those are geographical challenges of, do I want to go there? Do I want to stay in state? And some of those things. And so, we have people there all the time recruiting. And so it'll work itself out in the end.
I think it's betting on yourself
Sure.
a little bit too, because I've looked at his offer list, and I think that he's a guy that could get some better offers too, powered behind some senior film. Not that he doesn't have great offers already, but I mean, he is a guy that's playing out of his mind right now and has a chance to climb the ladder, I feel like, a little bit now. It's betting on yourself. And back in the day, it used to be like guys were always wait until their senior year to commit. Well, now with the new rules, everybody's making their commitments, it seems like, before or around July 4th. Yeah. But sometimes one door closes and two more doors open,
right.
And that's what I'm thinking with Aiden Little, and his senior tape's really strong.
Yeah, your team's stacked, obviously, and I want to talk about, this is your 4th season there as the head coach at Lake Highlands. Now, you took over a program that was already notably successful.
Sure.
And you've continued that success. What's the secret sauce?
Yeah, I think, Lonnie Jordan's our AD now, and, he's a mentor of mine. Great friend, and I think we set a foundation, and we had the train rolling in the right direction, so to speak, and we weren't going to change that. A lot of guys on staff are still there, which I'm super humbled and grateful for, that do an unbelievable job, and we've just continued kind of an upward trend. We have a ton of kids in our program. I think we have over 270 kids playing football right now.
Wow.
I think Lake Highlands is a really special place. It kind of has that tight-knit feel of that small town with the Dallas address. And so kids want to come to Lake Highlands. They want to play football, and they want to run out of the tunnel at the Boneyard on Friday nights, and that's truly special.
What's one of your favorite traditions that you've been able to experience at Lake Highlands?
I think and I think I just alluded to it. I think one of the things about Lake Highlands when you talk to the outside world is people they don't know a lot about Lake Highlands, right? And again, our town, our city supports everything our kids do, and it's truly special. You can feel it in the hallways. We have an unbelievable administration, and so I think one of the things that's so unique about Lake Highlands is it has that small town feel. It's kind of hard to explain. Mm-hmm. I'm from a small town, and so I really like that aspect of it.
I think you can see that with how many football players are on the team, right? That's always one of the first things, and that's what you look at and see how many guys want to be a part of it.
Right.
You just want to be a part of it. Coach, before we let you go, I got to ask you, put me on one of your younger guys. Who do I need to keep my eye on? Who's going to be coming up that you feel like is a guy that could really emerge as one of those next guys in line to be a top-tier player over there?
Yeah, I think I'll give you a couple. One is Franklin Evans Jr. He's a junior right now. He plays our H-back. Versatile guy. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up in the backfield. He's got a big frame, big blocker. And then the other one is sophomore Israel Samuel.
Okay.
He's 6'3", 190 sophomore. He plays outside backer opposite Aiden Little, and probably had his best week of practice last week. Played his best game. And I think the sky's the limit. Unbelievable kid, and we're super excited to have him.
Let's go. I love you. Dial me in on those young guys, man. And you got 2 6'3" linebackers out there running around. So
yes.
That's got to be a whole lot of fun, giving us reason. And another running back in the pipeline.
Oh, my gosh. We love to see it.
Music to everybody at Lake Highlands' ears, right?
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we really appreciate the time, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
absolutely.
Coach.
There he goes, the head coach at Lake Highlands. It is Corey Campbell. Man, again, I continue to say it, and it's such a fun district. It really is, and I think Lake Highlands. All of the coaches that we've had, all the teams that are in this district, they have the opportunity to go and grab that district title at the end of the season.
A little bit of competition, right? Like Irving Mack this week.
Yep.
2 weeks Jesuit.
I know.
Kind of back to back, right? And a game that's going to be pretty important for district seating and how this district shakes itself out, because I think, and we keep talking about this, but in 7-6A, it's pretty much every week is going to be a seeding game or a game to see who gets in or who may get out of the playoffs this year, and that's a big game that's coming up, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top of that one.
Oh yeah, well, and he already mentioned it. We've mentioned it so many times before, but Christian Rhodes, that running back, is so special. You know, we've got him in our top 25 in the class of 2026. When did you realize that Christian Rhodes was on the map? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember, actually, because he's not someone who I knew about like early out of the gate last season. I think it was about game 4 or game 5 that he had his breakout moment, right? And you know me, I'm watching as many tapes as I can every weekend. The faster they can put them on Huddle, the more hype I am to watch them. And I feel like Christian Rhodes' tape hit pretty quickly after that. And I can't remember what it was. I almost feel like in the top of my mind, he was like, went for 324 yards, like in game 3 or game 4 last year. So that was the moment that I kind of saw, like, oh, here's a guy that's kind of bursting on the radar. Yeah. Basically out of nowhere, right? Because he was an unknown player, and then boom, he's putting up big numbers, and he hasn't looked back since then. He's made his commitment to SMU. He's a highly rated 4-star. And one of the things I've been saying in this class over and over again is 1 through 25 this year in the class of 2026, it's as tightly compacted as I've ever seen. And that's why it's been hard to make some of these 5-star calls throughout the course of the year. You know, we name 5 stars every class, and 2026 has been extremely difficult because there isn't a huge line of demarcation, a whole lot of separation between some of these talents, and that makes it really tough.
Especially when you take a look at the top 10 running backs that we have in the class of 2026. I mean, they're all so good. It's hard to put them in order, you know, or rank them based off of how you feel, but they're all really good. You know, the class of 2026 class is just stacked, but excited to see what they'll do the rest of the season. Before we are joined by more special guests, I want to put you guys on something else. Now, we've got our Friday night plans, right, to go watch Texas football tonight, the after party, but how about some Built Ford Tough Player of the Week action? Powers, we see a lot of great talent all across the state in every classification. And we talk about a lot of great talent on this show each week. If you're out there watching this and you know of a player that deserves to be recognized for their achievements on and off the field, you can nominate them for the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week. And that includes Class 6A all the way down to 2A in eligible private schools. And all you have to do is to go to nominate them is to go to fordplayeroftheweek.com/nominate. That's fordplayeroftheweek.com/nominate. And of course, join us every Thursday night starting at 10:30 p.m. for the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week show. And that's on all of our social channels, on YouTube, TexanLive.com. You can find the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week show every Thursday night starting at 10:30 p.m. All right, Powers.
Let's do it.
Let's keep the train rolling, shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
We got more special guests in the House of Sports at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's Richardson head coach. It's Kendrick Holloway, and he is joined by offensive lineman Jasper Ngokre. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Got it.
Let's go. I love it. Coach, well, both of you guys, thanks so much for joining us. Not very far, just kind of like all the coaches that we've had on so far, not too far from where we are now. So thanks so much for taking the time and joining us today.
Thank y'all for having us tonight.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and talk about last week, right? You played in a lot of close games this season, a lot of one-score games.
Hard-fought battles every week.
Hard-fought battles, a lot of grit showed from your guys. What's been something that your squad has been able to take away thus far in this season?
I've told our guys week in and week out, it's always, we face every opponent that's on our schedule, but the most important opponent we face is ourselves. Every week we try to go in with the mentality of it's Richardson versus Richardson. Let's go out and try to make sure we execute the details, execute the game plan that we have on special teams, on defense, and on offense. And in those games that we've lost, we try to find a lesson in those losses and use those as motivation to continue to grow as a football team and as a program.
You're getting to play at home for the first time in 4 weeks, I believe, coming up. Does that add a little bit of extra juice to your guys?
Yes, it does. It does. It's homecoming. as
Even
well
better.
for us this
There you
week,
go.
as we face Irving. So it's already that spirit around school has been real high from the student body, the community, and all of that. So, and our kids are excited to, even though last week we were just down the road, being able to come home for homecoming this week versus Irving and have a great atmosphere and that community support, that school spirit, a lot of alumni returning for this game. So it'll be an exciting time for us this Friday night.
Coach, I'm looking at some of the records for Richardson, and it's been quite a while since the team played 12 games. Y'all played 12 games last year, went to the playoffs. Really remarkable season. The turnaround job that you've done at Richardson has been quite amazing to watch. What has been some of the keys to your success there? What have been some of the things that you feel like that you have implemented to not only get the players excited about Richardson football again, but keep them on the field so they can earn those scholarships, right? Because it's all coming down to game tape. You got to put it on tape, and you got to play those games. The more games you play, the more tape you get.
Correct. Just for me coming to Richardson to be the head coach, I was also already in the district. I was a coordinator at Richardson Berkner, so I kind of saw the program from afar and saw that they had talent there. I kind of knew the district from the admin standpoint. We have a great principal, Chris Choate. Great leadership from our superintendent. At the time when I was hired, our athletic director was Leslie Slovak, who was a great and phenomenal leader, well respected throughout the state of Texas. So the pieces were there already, and I was just coming in trying to lay the foundation, sell the vision that I had for the program to the kids and to the community, and they bought in. One thing I always tell people is, from day one when I stepped on campus, those kids worked hard in the weight room. So it was kind of just giving them the vision, speaking life into them a little bit more. That helped with that. Plus the hard work, of course, is
no doubt.
help when the way we work out and the way we train from our day-to-day operations.
Jasper, I got to ask you, man, we kind of talked about it. Iron sharpens iron, right? And Texas high school football has plenty of tests that you're going to have to face each and every week on the field. But in practice, your defensive line is pretty good. Why don't you kind of talk about what it's like going against, Big Jai in practice or some of the other defensive ends that you get a match up against?
I feel like going against the D-line really helps us as an O-line get better while we, work on our craft. Playing against our fourth-row D-line, Jamie Winfield, has helped me get better, helped me know I'm facing against when I'm going to college. And the DN and Trail Smith just helps me, my footwork, and just working on my craft and getting better.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is one of the biggest dudes that we have in Texas, and he's got tons of offers already, one of the most heavily offered players in the class of 2027. So first and foremost, congrats on all the attention that has come your way. Just in general, what's it like to know that you're going to have a chance to play at the next level, right? You're going to be able to play college ball somewhere. You're going to have to make a decision at some point, but before you even dive into all that, what's it just like in general to know that you're going to be able to do that?
It feels great coming into practice and games every day, knowing that it's another chance to keep getting better and working hard, and that people are rooting for me to get better and showing love to me. So it's just been a great feeling, really.
Coach, you have such a talented roster. One of your guys sitting right next to you, and he mentioned a couple of those, Lovey Berry as well, in that, what have you seen from this team so far that gets you juiced up for the rest of the season?
The hunger, the continuous mindset of wanting to get better every day, no matter the outcome. We have pretty intense practices. We grind it out, but also we have fun as well. And it's creating that competitive atmosphere every day in practice. I like to tell our offensive linemen, and Jasper can attest to this, you get to face one of the top defensive lines in the state every single day. And I get to tell our defensive line, you get to face some of the top offensive linemen in the area every single day. Like that iron sharpens iron. And same thing for our running backs and our linebackers and our receivers and DBs that face off against each other every day. So having that competitive atmosphere for those guys every single day and just trying to help them understand, just continue to compete no matter the outcome and have that mindset.
You know what, Coach? One of my favorite players to watch, I call him D, Damian Crow.
Oh, yeah.
So electric, so fun to watch. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I look at the stats. Jacob Watson is beating him, and that means you got two top dogs out at wide receiver. Why don't you talk about what they're bringing to the table and what makes them so special? I know D's got game-changing speed, but tell us a little bit about Watson, too.
Yes, Watson, he's a sophomore.
Really?
Yes, sophomore, similar to D. Crow, electrifying as well. Great hands, can run every route on the route tree. It's kind of fun when you have those guys. You know, in today's age, everyone wants those big receivers, and I like to call those guys little jitterbugs and Ferraris because they have that speed and they can make you miss in the phone booth.
You can't call D small though because he plays big.
He plays big, and that's what I tell those guys. Like, just go out there and play football, have fun, play football. When the ball comes to you, make the play, and just go out there and do what you've been blessed to do.
So you guys are the Richardson High School, right? Now you've got more high schools building up around you, Richardson Pierce, Richardson Berkner. How does it feel to be the Richardson High School, right? I'm from Arlington, and I'm from the Arlington High School. You know, is there a certain, feel
pride,
to that or pride around the city? Like, do you have that chip on your shoulder going around saying, like, I'm from the Richardson, I coach at the Richardson High School?
Around our school, and we have signs up on game days that say there's only one Richardson.
I love it.
Throughout the city of Richardson, but it's a special place. I always kind of talk to our kids and our coaching staff and tell them, like, hey, this is the first school that was born. This is the firstborn. It's like the firstborn child. This is the bell cow of the district. So let's continue to work hard every single day, give it everything we got to make this place special again. And I feel like we're headed in the right direction doing that.
Coach, I can't let you get out of here without asking you about Jamie Winfield, you know, one of the top-rated guys. His junior tape was so explosive. I likened it a little bit to Ed Oliver in my mind because those are two of the defensive tackles with one of the quickest get-offs that I saw coming off of junior tape. But as he's transitioned into his senior year, and of course, USC's very excited to get him, what has he done to help keep improving himself and get ready for the college game?
Yes, one of the main things when he came to us, I told him, you have a special talent, and all you have to do is just continue to take coaching, get in the weight room. Because I told him one of the things that's going to be tough as you make this transition is how we work out. But he accepted that challenge. He's had a great offseason, starting back since the end of last season for us. And like I say, he's a special talent. For him to be that size and to be able to move that quick and be that athletic, it's scary.
He looked even bigger on tape to me this year.
He is. He has put on probably 10 pounds since last season. And the thing that I love about it is he hasn't lost that quickness. He hasn't lost it. And there's times in practice I see him do things, I'm like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be able to be that big.
And move like that.
He moves
extremely well. Jasper, 6'6", 290 pounds. Is there anybody in the league that you look up to or in college ball? Who's your favorite guy? Who do you hope you could grow up and play like one day?
I mean, growing up, I didn't really watch like college sports, college football, NFL, but I mean, teams that I've been watching, like now I'm getting to middle school and up playing football, is Cowboys left tackle. Watching him is very great, and the Lions left tackle too, very good. So I've been watching them, trying to, put the craft in me.
Yeah, two of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. Now, I wish the Cowboys could stop somebody. Hopefully this is the week. Hopefully this is the week, but the offense is clicking on all cylinders, and same thing for Detroit.
Same thing for Richardson too.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we really appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank y'all so much for having us again. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. There they go. It's the head coach at Richardson High School. It's Kendrick Holloway and his offensive lineman, Jasper and Go Cray. We appreciate them taking the time and joining us here. What a stacked team.
If you haven't offered Jasper yet, now's your chance, right? Like, he's got around 20 offers, but he's a guy that's going to have 30, 45 offers by the time the dust settles on his recruitment. And to me, he's a student athlete who is just only starting to reach his potential. He's getting better and better every game. He was amazing last year. I went and watched them in the playoffs last year, and he definitely jumped out right away as a guy who was going to be one of those guys that I actually think I made his profile that night.
Oh, yeah. He's one of those where you see once and you're like, yeah. Well, some of his offers list is Arizona State, Florida State. I mean, scroll down the list.
Texas
LSU,
A&M,
Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Baylor, some of the big in-state programs, SMU as well. He's going to have them all come calling.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it plays out, too, because I feel like it's a wide-open recruitment. It's one that's really just getting started. You heard him speak a little bit about, he didn't really grow up on college ball, so I think that it's going to be about relationships when it comes down to his recruiting process.
Right.
And we'll find out, when the dust settles on where he's going to pick. But guess what? He's still got 2 full years. Well,
a year and a half.
Year and a half of ball left, so plenty of time for him to figure things out and figure where he's going to go. But even more importantly, more time for colleges to go ahead and give him a chance to play there.
Go and offer him.
If you don't offer him, you can't land him.
Yeah, you can't land him if you don't offer him. I love it. Well, Powers, we got one more thing to do, and that's this week in recruiting. But before we get to that, let's hear a word from our good friends at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid.
Take notes.
Yo, I can guard pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
You fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
All right, we got one more thing to do, and it would be wrong to not start this segment off with how we usually start it off.
Let's let them know.
I'm Mallory Hartley. That's Greg Powers, and it's This Week
in Cruton.
Good one. We don't have the intro, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and jump right into it, because, guys, it is This Week in Recruiting. And, man, do we have a stacked week for you. We'll go ahead and start off here with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise this week, it's Colleyville Heritage quarterback Bodie Weaver. The 6'3", 210-pounder is the newest DCTX 3-star.
There you go.
And was named a member of the DCTX Rising Top. Wait, am I seeing that right?
Top
500?
500.
500.
Let's give ourselves a high five for that.
we gotta do that real quick.
There's a lot of effort behind the scenes to get profiles for 500 players made, photos added, schools of interest. A lot of hard work goes into that, so we deserve that high five.
We deserve. This guy created over 500 2026 profiles. You can check all of that out on texasfootball.com/recruiting. But Bodie Weaver is the newest DCTX 3-star added to that list, and he is committed to go play for the UTEP Miners. And Powers, he has been electric this season so far. His midseason stats, I'll read them off real quickly. Almost 1,200 passing yards and 16 touchdowns, and 433 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. Absolute baller.
The thing that I love about Weaver's game is what he does off schedule. He's one of these quarterbacks who doesn't just have to stay in the pocket. He doesn't have to have design runs. He makes things happen when things break down and never looks uncomfortable. And that's something that really jumped out to me on his tape. As a matter of fact, I was watching this tape when I was putting together that top 500 list and really wanted to kick myself. Powers, what took you so long on Bodie Weaver, right? Like my guys down in El Paso had a jump on me on him, and it just felt wrong to have to live like that. I wanted to be a better person because I was missing on Weaver, and I quickly pushed that 3-star button. This is a dude that just gets it done. I mean, and 16 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. I think he's a kid because of his size and his upside, and like I talked to you right off the top, his improvisational skill set can come in and be a difference maker at UTEP. They got a former 5-star quarterback under center down in El Paso right now, but I think Bodie Weaver has a chance to grow into
Malachi Nelson.
I think Bodie Weaver has a chance to grow into being that dude. There. I really like him. It's a good team, but Bodie Weaver to me just instantly jumps out on tape. He pops.
And when he committed to UTEP, one of the things that he quoted on Twitter or something like that was, he said, UTEP joining the Mountain West in 2026 shows the upward trend in the program. And I think that's huge. Again, it's a huge get for
sure.
UTEP in this quarterback because some of the offers that he had were Ivy League offers. So that proves right there that he's a smart kid and he's got a high football IQ. So he brings a lot to the table other than just his athleticism on the field.
Another thing that UTEP does well, Scotty Walden seems to bring a lot of energy to that program, and I feel like the recruits feel it. It's a constant thing. Any player I talk to that's committed to UTEP or goes down there for a visit, they really feel the energy that staff is bringing. And me, I always love whenever Texas high school football prospects get recruited from Texas schools, and UTEP does a lot of that. So it's really been fun to watch down there. But I think, as I'm looking at it right now, this is a class that's pretty good for UTEP. But I think Bodie Weaver has a chance to finish towards the top of our rankings. Maybe could be the best player in that class. I mean, we'll have to wait and see where the dust settles on our National Signing Day show in December, but Bodie Weaver's in the running to be, the key recruit in this class to me.
He's Bodie Weaver. He's our prospect on the rise this week. Let's move on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is San Antonio Johnson, 2027 quarterback, Mikhail McCreary. Fantastic name, first of all. I love that name.
He's going to keep the announcers busy whenever he's breaking up balls in college.
You got to go slow. Mikhail McCreary, the 6-foot, 170-pounder, committed to none other than Oklahoma over offers from SMU, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M. And one of the things I think that makes him such a valuable prospect in the secondary is his versatility and just the ability to play at multiple positions, like corner or like safety. But you can move him all around that secondary, and he's going to ball out.
I love him at corner.
Yeah.
I feel like he's could be maybe the future of that defense at corner. Cortland Guillory is out of the gate strong as a freshman at OU, and he could be next in line, right? Like to be one of these top guys in that Brent Venables defense. Has the size, but the thing that I really love about his game is that he brings a physical presence at corner, whether it's getting off of blocks and coming down a tackle. But I really like that he takes it up on himself when he's matched up with a bigger receiver to play physical. He's not scared to match up with a guy that's 3 or 4 inches taller than him. And sometimes in Texas high school football, you get 6'4" or 6'5" receivers that you're going to have to match up with, especially down at San Antonio Johnson, where they're playing some of the best, not only in San Antonio, but go up into the Syntax and play some of those programs as well. McCreary, I think, is a guy that could be, we haven't finalized our rankings in that class, but I think that he's in the mix to be a 4-star prospect. I love everything that I've seen out of him on tape so far in this cycle and this season, and think that he was going to climb the ladder.
Yeah, you were watching his tape before this, and I was sitting here doing my notes, and I heard you watching Mikhail's tape, and all I heard was "sheesh," and I was like, okay, so he's pretty good. Yeah, I watched it too, and I was like, nah, he's the real deal.
No, he's really good. He's really physical in coverage, but his off man is good too, and I think that's probably the most important thing when trying to break down corner film is seeing how they operate in off man coverage, because they're going to do that a lot in college, and it also shows you their ability to move well in space, right? Not everything is going to be like you're locked in on tight coverage, but maybe if you make a small mistake, how do you make up for that? He has great reactionary speed, and he closes distance and closes gaps really quickly.
Oklahoma Sooners getting a good win in our commit of the week, and that's Mikhail McCreary. All right, Powers, let's go ahead and round it out here with our underclassman of the week. Our underclassman of the week is Naaman Forest 2027 athlete Braylon Deal. 6'3", 175 pounds. Picked up new offers from Arizona State and Kansas State this week, joining Texas Tech, UTEP, UTSA, and the list keeps growing and going.
Yeah.
His highlight tape is so much fun to watch. Whether he's on the offensive side of the ball at receiver, on the defensive side of the ball at safety or corner, wherever he's at, he's just a playmaker. You can see his tape right now. He's just a dude you could rely on to make big plays.
Yeah, we're going to cheat and call him an athlete for now. We like to try to get him into a position, but it's with his size and potential upside, I think that he is a guy that you can't write him off on the defensive side of the ball yet. Not that you ever would. The reason why I say it like that is that he could be such a playmaker at wide receiver that playing him on defense takes the football out of his hands. And then you think, oh, could we be scoring? Then you had to make a decision. Do we want to score touchdowns or try to stop touchdowns? There's other guys on the defense that you can count on, but there may be only one big-time playmaker that's 6'3", 170 pounds that you can split out wide. And TCU fans and Naaman Forest fans are of course, familiar with the Deal family name over there. Marcus Deal at Garland Naaman Forest, of course, at TCU now. Somebody that is doing very well at the next level, and I think that you're only going to continue to see Braylon's recruitment spike, and he's going to get more and more offers. He's literally a guy that's catching on fire right now.
Yeah, he picked up Arizona State and Kansas State last week after his performance.
It's like the domino effect, right?
It is the domino effect. Yeah, these programs are going to start seeing these guys, getting offered one after the other, and they're going to say, "Oh, maybe we should join the party," because they can't commit if you don't offer, right? But go ahead.
I love Arizona State and Kansas State offers.
I do too, yeah.
Because they're in early on guys, and
they are
springboarding some of these guys out to more success.
I think so too. Well, I was going to mention his stats. So far this season, he's put up 292 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, and then on the other side of the ball, 22 tackles. So very athletic. He brings a lot to the table. Great underclassman pick of the week. Yeah,
I like this pick too, and I think it's a guy that we're probably going to have to go out and interview sometime soon.
I think so too. We got to get that on the books.
Let's do it.
He's our underclassman of the week. It's Braylon Deal from Naaman Forest. Wow.
What a show.
I think we're finally done. Or we could keep going. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want to
We could have our producer.
Well, we got to get off air so we can shop.
Come on and kind of talk to everybody about how things happen behind the scenes. But, yeah, what a jam-packed show. So many great coaches and players. Oh, yeah.
We got to shop around.
Time to hit the shoe section.
Because, shoes are very important at the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Studios. Before we go, though, do you want to let the people in on where we're going to be on Thursday night for our DCTX Rising Game of the Week? Yeah,
it's a big one in 3A, Lorena versus Lampasas in Lorena. I'm really excited to see this game. Lampasas lost their star player, moved out of state before the season started, and all they've done is get better. They've rallied as a team. They've come together as a team. They're 5-0 on the season. And then, of course, on the other sidelines, Jackson Blanchette, the quarterback at Lorena, has been having a really strong season. And I'm pretty excited about Sloan Blackwell.
Yeah.
He's the brother of Baylor defensive lineman Jackson Blackwell, one of the top recruits a couple years ago, and he's been doing a pretty solid job in Waco. And Sloan is a guy in the class of 2028.
And you had to talk to him at 7-on-7.
Yeah, 6'4", 210 pounds. He made me look really short
yeah, he did.
on the video. But, yeah, he's a guy that's going to continue to rack up a lot of attention, and I'm pretty excited to see those guys go at it.
Absolutely. That's where we'll be on Thursday night. Of course, you can catch that game for free on YouTube.com or, of course, on TexanLive.com. We appreciate Dick's Sporting Goods for being great partners to us and hosting us tonight for our Dave Campbell's Rising Road Show. We appreciate all the coaches and players. I could list them all, but there's just been so many. We'd be out here another. We appreciate all the coaches and players that were able to join us today. Quick reminder, we're usually live on Tuesdays at noon for This Week in Recruiting. Of course, tonight was the exception, but you can catch us everywhere that you watch your stuff on Tuesdays at noon for all your recruiting news all across the Lone Star State. For Vianney Moreno, our producer, the Director of Recruiting, Greg Powers, I'm Mallory Hartley. We will see you next Tuesday at noon.